This video demonstrates how the Token A prototype works. The back end of the prototype is fully functional, but it's not integrated into external service providers such as logistics and banks. We are to see the 10 steps transactions of an art object run on the prototype. This is an expert involving transaction, whereas in practice the transactions can run without the expert.
Running Gap, a widely accepted implementation of an Ethereum node. The node is started as a miner of a private network. We are free to use any private or public network, including the Ethereum's main public network. Users can choose between being an active node or just delegate us, managing their Ethereum keys. We assume that we credit 10 Ether or other tokens for free to every new user. So, a few blocks have been mined already and our node has started.
Our imaginary seller, Mr. Johan Kanselenbogen, logs in and starts the deal. We assume that he already knows the buyer, and there is a preliminary arrangement between them to run the deal on Token A. At this step, the seller attaches the object he sells to the system via an object link, a definitive boundary between the virtual and physical worlds, using a mobile phone camera image processed by a sophisticated algorithm provided by Token A. At this step, the seller arranges the delivery terms. This is the information needed for the carriers, which have not been integrated yet, but the transaction involves those as well. This is how the transaction looks like from the seller's perspective before it is submitted to the buyer to confirm.
Here you can notice that the first party, Johan Kanselenbogen, whose account address starts with 7D7, has spent some Ether. In blockchain-based networks, users have to pay for some gas to save data into the ledger.
After the seller initiated the deal, the buyer should confirm his participation. After the buyer confirms the participation, the parties can make the details more precise. These postponed confirmations are needed for those who entered the deals being in a hurry. At the fourth step, the parties decide on the expert. This agreement is very important for both parties to avoid further arguments. The expert could be chosen through our featured expert bidding platform, which is not demonstrated here. The expert only gets involved after both parties confirmed they both agreed on the expert. He or she decides whether or not to participate, just like on the freelancers platform. The chosen expert, Mr. Campi, agreed to participate and to grant his opinion on the object. At the next point, the buyer's bank freezes the specified amount in the buyer's account, and the object can travel to the expert. After this, the expert starts his job to define if the object is authentic. As a result of his research, Mr. Campi confirms that the object is authentic. Token A forwards this signal to the buyer's bank. The buyer's bank can now actually send the money right to the seller's account. While the money is transferring, the object now travels from the expert to the buyer. During this time, in our example, the seller still owns the object, till the seller's bank can confirm that the money is received and the carriers confirm that the object is delivered. This is the buyer's screen, with no changes at this point. At this step, the seller's bank, JP Morgan Chase in our case, sees the deal and expects the payment to come in. What's important that the all AML information on the transaction is already available for the bank. Finally, the seller's bank has received the money for Mr. Kanselenbogen and his account is credited. Here the bank confirms it. Once the money transfer is finalized and the object is delivered, the property transfer is triggered on Token A. Here you can see the status of the seller with no object, and this is the status of the buyer with the object.
Let's check our stat once more. Yes, all of the parties including banks checked in at the blockchain. You can see that all balances reduced by a small amount of Ether. except for account 0, which is the Coinbase of our blockchain.
Thus, the transaction is ended. The money came to the seller's account as the bank has just confirmed. The ownership rights over the painting is transferred to the buyer.